This is Triple Play Fantasy Basketball. I'm your host, Coach James Lewis. The lottery balls fell in San Antonio's way with the generational talent, Victor Wembanyama. I'm going to break down the picks that follow that in this first take on the post lottery mock draft edition with the one pick, the 22 win San Antonio Spurs have a franchise changing player in Victor Wembanyama. Did they need it? Last time this team picked first, it was Tim Duncan, and we know it was all she wrote after that. Victor Wembanyama, we love everything that he brings to the table, both on the offense and more importantly, the defensive end, as he is a defensive anchor. But the fact that he is doing step back 3-pointers, one-legged 3-pointers, catching his own lobs off of those 3-pointers, and showed he's got a little inside game as well. He's gotten a lot stronger within the last year. 7'5" with like an 8-foot wingspan, just affecting everything in the lane. We haven't really seen anything quite like it. But damn, San Antonio were the lucky ones in this draft. With the 2 pick, the Charlotte Hornets, after 27 wins this last year and a bunch of injuries, including their franchise point guard and star LaMelo Ball, they select Brandon Miller out of Alabama. They go with the 6'8", 6'9" sniper that plays hard defense and has some playmaking abilities as well. He'll pair well with LaMelo Ball. And, you think long and hard about Scoot Henderson in this position. And I do see a world where him and LaMelo could pair. But for me, I'm getting Brandon Miller at 3. The Portland Blazers, they were one lottery ball away from that one pick, and I think it's franchise altering. With this 3 pick, you got to go best pick available, and that's Scoot Henderson. He could be your franchise point guard for years to come. With that, that means, there's going to be questions as far as what do you do with Damian Lillard. He's coming into the tail end of his prime. He's been loyal to the franchise the entire time, but with Scoot's just unbelievable athleticism and wow and ability to rebound at his size. Like, you got to go with Scoot Henderson here, and you maybe start thinking about building to the future and mutually figure out a trade partner for Damian Lillard. At 4, the Houston Rockets, who to me were the worst franchise last year, suiting up. They get their captain and leader now in Ime Udoka. We'll see if that changes the franchise. They need some maturity, and this young man has it. Amen Thompson, he is a facilitator, a playmaker. He's a really good defender. He's still improving his shot, but he's the guy that I would put the ball in his hands and say, hey, this is our franchise point guard going forward. I know there's some Porter Jr. fans out there, but my best role for him is to see him come off the bench. I don't know if he's really going to accept that, especially after, he's doing career numbers. But I see, Amen Thompson and Jalen Green being an unbelievable backcourt in the future, and it's very potent. And I'm not giving up on Jabari Smith yet. You got Tari Eason, and Alperen Sengun is really good at the game of basketball. And we see a player like that still being effective, as we saw. So he has some bonus-esque type of game. And, I see the Houston Rockets franchise going up a little bit. And, we've all heard murmurs of the whole James Harden thing going back, but we'll see what happens with that. You got to get Amen Thompson at 5. The Detroit Pistons, they, fall out of the top 3, and some of those players that would have been very intriguing would have been lovely to see Victor Wembanyama and Kate Cunningham. They get 5 pick, and they're going to get the twin brother, Ausur Thompson, to fill one of the wing positions going forward. You got a lot to like about this franchise. And with Duran there, I just didn't want to go the Jarace Walker. Cam Whitmore definitely gets a thought here, but I like the upside of Ausur Thompson going forward. And he moves off the ball. He can play make a little bit. And he's an elite defender. At 6, the Orlando Magic, which they do have 2 lottery picks here. I went back and forth with what I'm thinking here. There's a lot to like with Franz Wagner and Rookie of the Year, Paolo Banchero. How do you fit and mold around that? Uh, I love the upside of Cam Whitmore. He's an explosive power player. I feel like he can fit right in. He didn't shoot the ball great from three-pointer in high school, but he did show signs of being able to hit the three as he was going crazy in Team USA just a summer ago. He's a solid defender. He's a competitor. And he's somebody that I just think fits here. I did really think about the likes of like a Gradey Dick, but is he a 6th overall draft pick? I don't know that. So I'd be remiss to not choose a Cam Whitmore, knowing that his ceiling is probably higher. At 7, the Indiana Pacers, who Tyrese Halliburton just had the breakout year of his life. Miles Turner had his best season. Ben Mathurin shows signs that he's going to be a really good player. I think Jarace Walker fits as kind of a connector, somebody that's big and a bruiser that can fit alongside of Miles Turner. And he has big upside as well. I love Jarace Walker in this position to the Indiana Pacers if he's on the board. At 8, Washington Wizards, who pick, it feels like 8 every season, and they always pick a small forward. And, I did think long and hard, pause on somebody else, but you got to go with Anthony Black here. One, I think that he'd play with Bradley Beal exceptionally well. 2, he's an elite defender. He's not afraid to take on those matchups. He doesn't hold the ball. He moves it. I can see him getting triple doubles going forward. You would love for his shooting mechanics to improve, but we've seen signs of really good, solid NBA starting tall point guard in the molds of a Sean Livingston. No, he doesn't have that Sean Livingston game, but he can get to that point. He's still a young buck, and I see he has a very high ceiling himself. So the Wizards, they get a guard. We all know the Monte Morris. It was just really boring to watch. We got Anthony Black. I think he can plug and play right away and help that Washington Wizards franchise going forward. At 9, the Utah Jazz. They had a shockingly pretty damn good year, and it looks like they have a great young coach in Will Hardy. This is when I do pull the plug and make the decision to pick Gradey Dick. As highest ceilings, as I talked about with these other players, I think he has one of the highest floors. He's a great feel for the game. He is an exceptional shooter. He cuts well. He tries to compete on defense. That may be something that teams might pick on him, but you have to stick to him on the other end. So he's going to be valuable in that 6'8". He's got a winning game. So I love him. I think he can fit in almost on any team. Again, I thought about getting him with the Magic, but I think he's a good fit in Utah. He looks like a Utah Jazz type of player. At 10, the Dallas Mavericks. They got to start winning now if they want to keep Luka. And for me, who knows? They might trade this pick. A lot of these picks, are maybe interchangeable as far as moving positions. But Taylor Hendricks, I just like his fit with Dallas. His ability to defend. He's an exciting defender. He will meet you at the rim. He's good in transition, and he's shown signs to be a good spot-up shooter. And that's the type of player that you need to play alongside Luka Doncic. And that's the type of player that Jason Kidd likes. He clearly doesn't like Christian Wood too much. And so going with Taylor Hendricks, I think is a solid role player for the future for the Dallas Mavericks. At 11, we got Orlando Magic up again. And what do they need? Cam Whitmore is not a great shooter. They need shooting. Keyontae George has shown that he's one of the most difficult shot makers off the dribble, off the catch. He competes hard, and I think he just has a lot of room to grow at 6'4". He can fit in with some of these bigger lineups. They put the ball in Wagner and Banchero's hands and Fultz. It has good size, so you're not really worried about him being only 6'4". He's going to go out there and he's going to hoop and he's going to fit in with those guys. At 12, Oklahoma City. They're going crazy. They're getting Chet back. Gilgeous-Alexander goes first team All NBA. What do you need to pair with this? Give me Nick Smith Jr. He has a high upside. He had a rough freshman campaign, but kid can really score the ball. He's shifty. He's smooth. He gets downhill. To me, he's an ideal 6-man of the year type candidate down the road, and you can play him with Giddey and with Gilgeous-Alexander because of their size. So yeah, I thought about other players here. I think you could bulk up the front court with, Chet's frame, and there's some other people that you could think about here, but I think you would be reaching if you were going to get a front court player in this position at 12 and seeing who's on the board. Now, if Hendricks is there, Jarace Walker, God forbid, is at 12, yes, you get that guy, but I like Nick Smith. At 13, the Toronto Raptors. To me, they need help in that backcourt. Fran VanVleet had an off year. Gary Trent Jr., you don't know what the future lies for him. So Cason Walace, I just like his style of play. He's a game breaker on defense. He's shown signs of play make on offense, and I think that he hasn't reached nearly what he's capable. But he seems like he's got really good feel. And I think that he shows sign that he could be a spot-up shooter down the road. At 14, New Orleans Pelicans. It's all dependent on Zion. When Zion plays, they are good. And what do they need around Zion? Shooting. Why don't you get the best catch and shoot shooter in the draft in Jordan Hawkins? He took his team to the title. He's got 40, 50, 90 possibilities down the road, although, his finishing ability does need to improve around the basket, and his frame does need to get stronger. You got to think that he's a safe pick as far as being a catch and shoot sniper going forward, and he can heat up at any moment, and he'll run the defense off track because he never stops. So there we have it. Quick take 2023 NBA post lottery mock draft. I will be coming sometime soon with a full first round pick. And then before the draft, we'll have a whole big board of the top 60, as this is now the third year I've been doing this. And I know time, it means everything. And, again, shout out San Antonio for getting Victor. It could have been anybody. It could have been the Wizards. That would have been great. But, they won the lottery this year, but there's other players that can help contribute going forward. Till next time, I'm Coach Lewis, Triple Play Fantasy. Subscribe, like, comment. We comment back. And I'll see you next time. Peace.